Nigeria, welcome to another interesting episode of NewsLine and Entertainment Tonic. I am Jennifer Igwe. Preserving our histories and ensuring our national legacies are passed from one generation to another are sure ways of upholding our national heritage. The Ransom Kuti ancestral home is loaded with such interesting histories. Stay on the line to find out efforts to keep them fresh and historical. A gray head, they say, is a crown of glory and splendor. Now, if a child fires a good arrow, an elder, they say, must have carved it for him. Now, that shows how important elders are, and we all pray to age gracefully. Today, we'll be joining the world to highlight World Elders Day and how we can make life better for them. Now, how to help the needy and reach out to fellow Nigerians in dire need will also feature on our rundown. Commercials and social activities that add value to lives and society is also on cue, plus academic achievements worth mentioning. I will stop here for the news segment on Newsline, and Newsline will continue afterwards. Ogwa Onyedibia is on standby to take the news. Ogwa, happy Sunday and over to you.
Thank you, Jennifer. I wish you same. Good evening and welcome to the news desk. The Central Naval Command is launching new operations in the Niger Delta tagged Operation Octopus Grip. Gabriel Amunike reports that Commander of the Command, Rear Admiral Bello Al-Hassan, announced this in Yanagwa, Bayelsa State.
Bello Al-Hassan says Sweep is to consolidate on the gains of Operation River Sweep.
This press conference is being organized to synthesize the general public on the need to be abreast with the forthcoming exercise codenamed Octopus Grip in the Central Naval Command area of responsibility. I therefore solicit for your usual cooperation, and as the command embarks on this exercise, 7 ships will be used for the sea exercise, while for the riverine operation, we intend to use 37 boats, 37 riverine patrol boats.
The Central Naval Command launched Operation River Sweep earlier this year, and so far the operation has recorded huge successes. Between May and September this year, the command says it has seized and destroyed a total of about 870,000 metric tons of illegally refined petroleum products. The Nigerian Navy is tasked with the responsibility of securing the waterways, as well as providing adequate security for national assets. The exercise, he says, is to assess the readiness of men of his command in tackling security challenges in the maritime sector. From Yanagwa, Gabriel Amunike, NTA News.
And away from security matters, the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation has reiterated its commitment towards growing the nation's crude oil reserves and increasing daily production. The Group Managing Director of the corporation, Dr. Meikanti Baru, who flagged off the NNPC forced ENP Oil Mining Leases Partnership in Lagos for the marine seismic data acquisition, said the project will boost the corporation's drive towards enhancing the nation's abundant hydrocarbon deposits. Dr. Baru added that the development will also reinforce the federal government's efforts to harnessing the nation's resources to enhance income streams and create more jobs.
Adjoining fields that there are a lot of reserves that are below the current targeted areas of 8,000 feet. We are looking much deeper, and we believe that those deeper reserves will increase, maybe even double the reserves that we have in place.
The Managing Director of the first E&P Oil Mining, Dr. Ademola Adeyemi, said the aim of the partnership is not only to grow the nation's oil reserves, but also develop the capacity of citizens. The partnership for the marine seismic data acquisition will be executed through a joint venture between NNPC's Integrated Data Services and Bureau of Geophysical Prospecting, a subsidiary of Chinese National Petroleum Corporation. And to education matters now, the National Universities Commission, NUC, has added to the number of Nigerian universities with the approval for the takeoff of the Gombe State University of Science and Technology. Ogechi Paul covered the brief but far-reaching event which attracted the elite class from Gombe and neighboring states.
This is the symbolic presentation of the strategic document that sought the establishment of the Gombe State University of Science and Technology, which law was assented to in August 2017. Governor Ibrahim Hassan Dankwambo says the institution, as a specialized one, will complement the existing one to cushion perennial carrying capacity challenges, as well as address other manpower needs of the state and the country.
It is gratifying to note that in Gombe State, we have successfully reoriented and redirected the thinking of the majority of our youth to pursue education, which is the bedrock for the development of any society.
Executive Secretary NUC Professor Abdul Rashid Adamu notes that the Commission will not compromise standards in its determination to support any serious initiative to establish a university, particularly specialized ones.
I write on behalf of the National Universities Commission, NUC, to inform Your Excellency that with effect from Thursday, 26 October 2017, the Gombe State University of Science and Technology, Kumo, was recognized as...
Towards achieving a world-class institution, Representative Akko Federal Constituency and the Speaker, Gombe State House of Assembly, said the quantum of legislative work that attended the university bill was legendary.
It is a university that is being created out of a need. So it has a focus, it has a vision, it has a purpose.
The bill for the establishment of this university is among the richest bill we passed in Gombe State House of Assembly.
This development brings to 154 the number of universities in Nigeria and the 46th owned by state governments. Ogechi Paul, NTA News.
President Muhammadu Buhari has described the former civilian governor of Old Kaduna State, Alhaji Abdulkadir Balarabe Musa, as a man of unassailable integrity and untainted record of public service. This was contained in a tribute to Balarabe Musa as he clocks 81. In a statement by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, President Buhari recalled his closeness with Balarabe Musa in the Conference of Nigeria Political Parties, where the celebrant described as a radical politician committed to building strong opposition in the country in order to deepen democracy. President Buhari urged other politicians, especially the younger generation, to emulate Balarabe Musa's lifestyle both in politics and public service. Well, the wife of the president, Aisha Buhari, says the president needs all the support and prayers of the people to enable him provide the desired change the country is yearning for. She said this in Yola at the inauguration of the Northeast Coordinators of Buhari Friends Organization Network. Rianu Bala reports.
The Buhari Friends Organization Network is an organization out to galvanize support for President Muhammadu Buhari through prayers and enlightenment campaigns for the president to succeed in the development of the country. Wife of the president, Aisha Buhari, represented by Hajo Sani, commended the organization for mobilizing people towards supporting the present administration and creating awareness on the achievements and prospects of the Buhari government so far. The representative of the wife of the president, who interacted with the Northeast coordinators of the organization, explained that the fight against corruption and promoting good governance are key to the development of any country, and the APC-led government has done so much to restore confidence and hope to the people.
As long as we struggle to meet up with the objective of this organization, I think it's our sacrifice and it's our contribution to the socio-economic and in fact political development of Nigeria.
We signed the Northeast Development Commission Act into law. This is one of the greatest achievements ever achieved in Northeast during this administration.
National Coordinator of Buhari Friends Organization Network, Athanasius Okon, says the organization also serves as a machinery through which the masses channel their yearnings and aspirations for positive change. High point of the occasion was the inauguration of the Northeast coordinators of the organization, as well as presentation of Award of Special National Patron of Buhari Friends Organization Network on Governor Muhammad Umar Jibrilla in Yola. Rayanu Bala, NTA News.
And from Yola, we go to Bayelsa State, where the police command is investigating the shooting of a teenager in Yanagwa by a policeman. Already, the accused policeman is in its custody, including some suspected cult members whose operations breached the peace in the state. Senam Bamigboye tells us more.
According to an eyewitness, the policeman reportedly shot the deceased, Tomboizibe Joseph, after making some accusations against him. The victim, who is about 16 years old, reportedly died while being conveyed to the hospital for treatment. Crowds of relatives, friends and other members of the community were perplexed following reports of the incident, which was said to have occurred at about 11 o'clock Thursday night.
The policeman has been arrested, is under investigation. The other suspects have equally made confessional statements as to how they came to his house and that they belong to the particular cult group called Greenlanders.
Meanwhile, the body of the deceased has been deposited at the Federal Medical Center mortuary in Yenagwa. From Yenagwa, Senam Bamigboye, NTA News.
And away from that, the Republic of Sudan has appreciated Nigeria for her crucial role in stabilizing the political climate in Sudan and says it would remain forever grateful to the government and people of Nigeria. This was at the presentation of letters of credence by the Nigerian ambassador to Sudan, Musa Saba Maman, to the President of Sudan, Omar Hassan al-Bashir, at the Presidential Palace in Khartoum, Sudan. President al-Bashir highlighted challenges being faced by Africa in the international arena and reiterated the interest of both communities in the promotion of peace, unity and development of the continent. Ambassador Musa Maman conveyed President Muhammadu Buhari's fraternal greetings and congratulations to the Sudanese president on the lifting of the United States unilateral sanctions on Sudan. He reiterated Nigeria's call to the elites in Sudan to accept cooperation rather than confrontation in settling their differences and assured Sudan of Nigeria's support. Meanwhile, the Nigerian government and Pakistani embassy in Nigeria are promising to keep synergizing their collaboration towards contributing to global peace and developmental issues. This was part of the resolution made at a reception as the Pakistani embassy in Nigeria joins her counterparts around the world to observe the Kashmir Black Day. Mohammed Nata Allah has the details.
Every 27th October, Kashmiris world over observe the Black Day to mark the illegal occupation of Jammu and Kashmir by India, as well as the subsequent violence that erupted in the disputed area. A reception at the Pakistan High Commission Abuja is put together to observe the Black Day, with the two countries' national anthem kickstarting the event. With this documentary on the history of the conflict and its aftermath, guests had better understanding to the Kashmiri people in their struggle for self-determination in the face of a 70-year history of torture. However, he clamors for an end in sight as relating to the United Nations resolution.
The UN is there, and it has been decided that it will be done through plebiscite, and we want that it should be done as soon as possible.
The only way out possibly is the call for regional bodies to find a roadmap towards resolving the dispute of Kashmir between India and Pakistan.
Kashmiris in Nigeria avail themselves the opportunity of the reception to exchange pleasantries and keep boning.
And talking sports now, second Africa Zone 2 Junior Swimming Championship ends in Lagos as Nigeria emerges overall in the championship. Anthony Joshua records 29th knockout of his boxing career Saturday night in Cardiff. Adeola Omokivie is our guide on sports update.
Thanks for staying on the line. The fact that Nigeria is blessed with many human and natural resources is not in doubt. There are many monumental structures that are in existence across the country with historical relevance that are important. One of these is a building that housed a family with the record of some firsts in the country. Among these are a human rights campaigner and the first woman to drive a car in the country and first national president of the Nigerian Union of Teachers. This house, which also housed a former minister and a great musician, is presently receiving the attention of the federal and Ogun State governments. Hakim Jimo completes the report.
Kuti means so many things to different people, from women's right activism to the clergy, medicine, arts, and a bit of supernatural. Or, how do you describe someone who once said he had that in his perch?
I sing a song some time ago, call am confusion. Then I will never burn my house, all money they flow for Lagos. Then Rebecca loud.
Their legacies are, however, being turned into a museum through efforts of the federal and state government. The Minister of Information, Lai Mohammed, who visited the house in the company of Ogun State Governor Ibikunle Amosun, noted that the Ransom Kuti family can add value to the tourism sector in Ogun State and Nigeria as a whole by immortalizing the Kutis and upgrading their family house. Alhaji Mohammed promised to support the state government to ensure timely completion of the project.
The emphasis of this government, whether at state or federal level, is that the creative industry must be turned to a creative economy. And I think this center is going to serve as a good model to encourage and inspire in our youth. This is the period we are also celebrating the 20th anniversary of the death of the maestro himself. And I'm sure that this thing is been time, to be commissioned very soon.
On the uniqueness of the music of late Fela Anikulapo Kuti, the minister stated that the Afrobeat musician carved a niche for himself by propagating oneness and unity of the African continent through his genre of music. On his part, the Ogun State Governor Ibikunle Amosun said that the legacies left behind by the late Kutis will continue to linger on the continent and the world over.
I know it will be in our interest to let people know his origin, his roots, where he's from. There's none of them that's on their own right, in their own right. Of course, it's a history on itself. Look at Baba Reverend Kuti himself. Look at Mama. Look at all that he did.
Monumental structures are often encyclopedias for important histories, so must be maintained and preserved. If I ask you where the sanctuary of the first Bible in Nigeria is, what will be your response? Do you know where it is? Okay, let's go down history lane. The history of missionaries in Nigeria cannot be complete without the mention of Christianity. Now, Christian adherents of the faith would naturally be curious about the very first Bible to arrive the shores of the country. Well, when NewsLine came up close with the custodian, Oba Adedotun Gbadebo, CFR, the Alake of Egba land, he gave a rare glimpse of the first Bible in Nigeria. Kazim Adeyemu will relay the details in this story.
Old, fragile, priceless, but well kept, best describe the state of the first English Bible in Nigeria. History has it that the Bible was sent to the grandfather of the current Alake of Egbaland, Oba Adedotun Gbadebo, by the Queen of England through the Christian missionary Henry Townsend in the 18th century. Oba Adirotun Gbadebo tells the story behind the Bible.
Henry Townsend, the first missionary of the Anglican mission, was going back home after having worked here for 2 years. The Sabua gave a letter to him to give to Queen Victoria. In the letter, the Sabua asked the question, what is the secret behind the success of the British? The Queen now sent a reply back through the same person when he was coming back. She sent a Bible, and she also sent a short letter stating that righteousness makes a nation great, and that sin is a reproach among men. That the Sagwa should look at Proverbs 14:34 in the Bible. That was the secret behind the success of the British.
According to His Royal Majesty, when the Bible was attacked by termites and needed rebinding, the Queen requested that the Bible be sent to England for repairs, but the then Alaki demanded for an insurance of £1 million. Herein lies the potentials inherent in the Bible as a source of revenue generation and an item of tourist attraction.
The first Bible, or the oldest Bible in Nigeria, we are not taking the Bible outside of Egba land. We will make far more money in Nigeria from tourism than we ever made from oil.
Incidentally, Oba Gbadebo is the 10th Alake during whose reign was a prediction of unprecedented growth and development in Egbaland.
It has very much come to pass. We were told when I was a small boy, and that time it was the 7th Alake Obademola that was on the throne, and we were told at that time that when the 10th Alake, nobody knew who the 10th Alake was going to be, that Egbaland would change, that Abeokuta would change totally for better, that would become another London. So, as the 10th Alake now, I have become the go-getter, the one in whose time Abeokuta has changed totally, Ogun State has changed. We have become the most industrialized state in Nigeria today.
Now you know where the first Bible is when asked.
Ancient history that is still relevant today and forever. Now, when last did you pay attention to the elderly within your family or neighborhood? Does it even matter to interact with the aged, as it seems that they may not be attuned with the present-day realities? But little do some people know that aging is a time when the body organs are questing for revival, a time when mobility becomes impaired and the desire for care and love increases. That is why the United Nations set aside October every year for the celebration of the elderly across the world. Annie Daniels, who was at an event put together to celebrate the aged in Lagos, says it was a sight to behold.
And greater rejoicing through Jesus the Son.
What better way to appreciate God for making them celebrate yet another special day? A day dedicated just for them. Yes, they are referred to as elder statesmen, or should I say, senior citizens. They left nothing to chance to ensure they savored the joy of the day. The old, the very old, even the weak amongst them, took part in this dance exercise aimed at giving them a sense of belonging. Pa Henry Shweton and Chief Israel Uwe are 98 and 90 years old respectively. In spite of their age, they can still move around unaided. So I had to engage them in athletics competition.
I'm much particular about vegetables. I don't take solid food. This carbohydrate is not good food. And if one wants to, it's not good to have obesity. And I don't have diabetes, no hypertension, nothing.
It is a known fact that the process of aging is characterized by several challenges. Some of these senior citizens exhibited and attested to those challenges. This is why the need to cater to the needs of the elderly took center stage at this event.
And what are the needs? There are health needs, there are social needs, there are accommodation needs, there are needs of privilege.
I'm using this opportunity to appeal to children to make their parents happy. That is just it. If they cannot move, then it means you have to provide whatever they need, maybe a carer and facility for movement.
We've seen elderly people being abused in homes. We've also seen them being abused even in their house by family members. So there can be a balance in it as time goes on, that they shouldn't run away from homes, and at the same time they should respect the cultural value, our cultural value.
Listen to more.
The tit for tat shouldn't be there any longer. Because my mom did not take care of me, my dad did not take care of me when they ought to have done it. Now I'm a big person, I'm not going to do that. You see, let me go a little bit scriptural. Honor your father and your mother so that your days can be long. You just have to honor them, even if you look at them as witches and wizards.
You heard it all. Everybody, I'm sure, looks forward to old age. While we do so gracefully, it is advisable we see to the needs of those already in that condition, who says the aged cannot live a normal and, if you permit me, sweet life. Or Jennifer, don't you agree with me?
Annie, I so agree with you. Now, we should all kindly endeavor to spend time and cater to the needs of the elderly in our society. It is a necessary service to humanity. Remember, we all pray to live long and age gracefully. Now, as part of our mandate to ensure that standard is maintained as the country marches towards full digitization, digital broadcasting, DigiTeam, the task force charged with this responsibility, had a facility tour of integrated television services transmission site in Ilorin. Cecil Egbele reports that at the end of the day, all that is now left is a date for the actual switch over.
The DigiTeam visit to the ITS facility in Ilorin reveals the readiness of the government-run transmission company to embrace and meet up the demands of the digital switchover. The team, headed by broadcast engineer Edward Amana, took a step-by-step tour of the German technology, road and shores, installed according to the recommendation of the International Telecommunications Union (ITU) and the guidelines set by the regional and national regulators.
We did computer simulation 1, and practically we traveled on ground with a bus.
From the computer simulation that ITS has done, they have recognized those places, and when that is done, there will be a need to actually do a reception survey to confirm the computer simulation.
In order to cover the entire stage, we're going to put transmitters, one in Kayama, to cover the northern part and the Pategi.
With these transmitters operating optimally, the ITS has on standby a set of transmitters which, according to the ITU, should be redundant but will come into active use in events of service interruptions.
If there's any fault with the active transmitter, you can switch over to the redundant transmitter so that the people at home can assume there's always signals.
A quick stop at the NTA Ilorin transmission facility, which has the advantage of proximity to the ITS, shows that all T's are being crossed and I's dotted to get on board the digital train. While at the Kwara State TV, installations are nearing completion.
We're like 99% ready. It's just a couple of equipment. As you have seen, we have all the equipment you see here are digital.
They've acquired and procured equipment that will evacuate their signal from their station to the head end of the ITS in a very short while. On the NTA side, they have the advantage of co-location. So getting NTA Ilorin on the ITS head end shouldn't be too much of a challenge.
For the case of Kwara State, we've just gotten out of their studios, and the studios are digital compliant. The only little thing remaining is linking the station from their own studios to the ITS head end.
The DSO has so far been successful in Jos and Environs by the ITS and Abuja by Pinnacle. Ilorin is among the 6 cities to be switched on when a new date is announced.
The digital switchover comes with great opportunities that will enhance broadcasting. Now, why is it that some people will always flout the rules and regulations put in place to make life easy for all? No matter what the government puts in place, they contradict. You will meet the unrelenting lawbreakers in our next segment after this timeout. Stay on the line.
Family's Day with nutritious Monroe Glucose D. It's the healthier way to add taste to your beverages and cereals. When you're in need of instant energy, Monroe Glucose D will deliver fast. Monroe Glucose D. Monroe Glucose D is extra fortified with calcium and vitamin D to help you stay strong and active all day. Monroe Glucose D. Instant energy. Fast.
Happier by Chivita. Burst of refreshment.
House of Cheese. To maintain a healthy blood pressure, avoid eating too much salt. Overconsumption of salt increases blood pressure, which could damage the heart. Once you get used to the taste of food without added salt, you can cut it out completely.
Sachet, now at 80 Naira.
The Lagos International Trade Fair is here again with exhibitors from over 16 countries in Africa and beyond. Theme: promoting industrialization for economic recovery and sustainable growth. Date: Friday 3rd to Sunday 12th, November 2017. Venue: Tafawa Balewa Square, Lagos, Nigeria. Time: 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. daily. Adequate security is guaranteed. Business-to-business meeting and a bustling national media attention to reach a global audience. For registration, visit www.lagosinternationaltradefair.com. Early birds get reasonable discount offer. For more inquiries, please call 0803-911-5606 or you can send an email to litf@lagoschamber.com. The Lagos Trade Fair is brought to you by the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry.
Welcome back. There are people who live their lives lavishly. They are not only enjoying the joy of essentials, but have what they want and desire. Call it luxurious living, providing them extra effort. On the other hand, there are other people who cannot even afford the basic requirements of life. But at any juncture of life, giving or receiving help are facts of life common to everyone. Mohammed Abdul Kadri examines the different narratives on how help puts smiles on faces and how its denial affects others.
No one is an island unto himself or herself in the journey of life.
Naturally, as human beings, we all need help one way or the other.
I never receive any help for a new human being.
There are things that we cannot achieve on our own, except if someone assists us.
This is why it is expedient for people to lean on others for help, depending on the standpoint of an individual at different points in surmounting life challenges. However, some say the four-letter word help means much to the survival of some individual, while others say the affluent and the privileged class of people in position of authority require different forms of help other than financial.
There's selective and gruesome help.
I have to work hard before I earn whatever I have.
Help can come in cash and kind to the effect that it may change the narrative of life of the receiver.
I actually was going to school. I stopped in SS2 because of money, and the woman picked it up from there.
We need a lot of help. We would like our children to go to school.
As soon as I gave birth to my first son, the way the man assisted me that time, I think that is a law that I can never forget in my life.
On the biblical, Quranic, and socio-cultural values attached to giving help, respondents say,
in the scriptures, we believe in divine grace as an assistance.
We come with nothing to this world, and we are going with nothing. Keeping everything to yourself is nonsense.
If I may ask, in what ways are you helping your country, community, comrade, fellow citizen, family, friends, and institution? Which of the help can I share with you? Too many. I recalled the day I had an auto crash. A good Samaritan traced me to the bush and picked me up in my pool of blood, took me to the hospital, picked up the bills. Until date, I've never set my eyes on that good Samaritan. What are you doing to support fellow Nigerians?
Wow. Like the Christian Bible says, give and it shall be given to you. Good measure pressed down, shaken together and running over. Now her dream was to be a successful businesswoman. She was on the right track for that until she came down with a health condition, a critical one. And her doctor says all she needs to live a fulfilled life is getting the desired medical attention. Annie Daniels was with her during the week and will tell the story.
Margaret Akko is 36 years old. Her joy bounds when at age 19 she obtained admission to study economics at the Lagos State University. While still basking in that euphoria, something terrible happened.
I had blood pressure and I was rushed into coma for 11 days.
For 17 years, Margaret was managing the situation, going in and out of hospital until February this year when she noticed swellings all over her body. Like other times, Margaret went for medical check and then it was discovered that her kidneys, both, are damaged.
And last year it was giving me signs. I was itching, sleepless nights, headaches and all that. I'm in a terrible pain because the place they're using to do dialysis got infected. One of the legs got infected, which I'm not working properly. I limp. I'm tied to a bed. Once because of the cough, whenever I have fluid on my chest, so I'll cough till I go for another dialysis. And right now, doctors are saying I have to go for dialysis 3 or 4 times a week, and I can't afford it.
Fred Osanrere is Margaret's doctor. He says her case is critical and requires immediate kidney transplant.
Before she came in, the damages has already been done to the kidney, so the kidney wasn't properly managed all this while. So as a result of the high blood pressure, she has been on anti-hypertensive drugs all this while, so the blood pressure is normal now.
Dr. Osanrere speaks further.
She needs about 13 million naira for the transplants, which is going to cover a range of expenses. She needs the assistance very urgent. I mean very urgent.
Veronica Okafor and Martin are Margaret's mother and brother.
I'm only one to bath her, clothe her, feed her. So if I'm able to, if she will do all those things by herself.
The family will have drained financially. Even I went so far as selling most of my property, even land property. So I'm pleading on public fellow Nigerians to come for our help, please.
As it is now, the doctor says Margaret's case gets worse by the day. Standing between her and the much-desired transplant to get her on her feet are the funds she's appealing to all and sundry to help her with.
As we pray for her speedy recovery, the spirit of reaching out to fellow Nigerians in need is necessary. Now, do you know that there are some people who are bent on doing whatever the law prohibits? Simple instructions like do not dump refuse here or this or that is difficult for them to abide by. They break traffic rules and everything breakable. They are who we call the unrelenting lawbreakers. It is them that Annie Daniels is focusing on in this report.
To visualize a society without the rule of law. I believe what you see is total chaos, a situation where people exhibit all manner of antisocial behavior and get away with it. Simple instructions like don't litter your surroundings, no street trading or driving on one way are disregarded by some people.
Some people have a year, they can't listen to what they are saying. They can see that this thing they are doing is not good, but they know that it's not good, and they will be doing it.
For instance, bus drivers, they don't obey traffic laws. Like, probably when you're driving, you just see them, they just come around, and this can lead to accidents.
Because we've seen one person doing it, and it's been going on with it, so any other person will want to do that.
Worse still is that these offenses are committed with boldness and in the presence of law enforcement agents.
The masses, they don't want to obey the law anyway.
They don't respect police, but you can see when they fall into trouble, they say it's devil's work. But when they want to do it, they don't remember a devil again.
Some believe that they are well placed in the society, and no matter what they do, they will get away with it.
If there are penalties, strict penalties attached to all these things that government has placed to, safeguard the life of citizens, they will abide by it.
Now, what will you say about this? Caught on camera is this motorcyclist riding on one way.
If you follow down, police will just arrest you, carry your bike and carry you, go take you to Alausa. That's why we know if you follow down the other side until we follow one way.
Is he aware of the danger his action poses to himself and other road users?
We know, but now the side way would they follow.
But why would anyone disobey laws that are meant to protect them from harm?
The way you behave in your house is the way you behave outside. Because at your house, you have to get everywhere. If you come outside, you don't know when you drop it on the floor.
And also the laws themselves, most people are not even aware of it. That's where the literacy comes in.
Despite signposts with bold instructions positioned on strategic spots, prohibiting certain things and the amount of money to be paid as fine if the instructions are flaunted, some Nigerians still disobey the law.
Those who make the laws don't obey them.
So, who will enforce the law?
Law enforcement agency. Government should find something to do.
Because of the level of disregard for laid down rules and regulations nationwide, the federal government introduced Change Begins With Me in a bid to urge every Nigerian to take it upon themselves to do the right thing.
This thing has really eaten deep into our fibers. You get what I'm saying? Yeah, it has really eaten deep. So it will really take time for that change.
Definitely the government will lead the cause. And when government leads the cause and government really means it, people will comply.
But the truth remains that if every Nigerian, regardless of who they are, make a conscious effort to do what is right, Nigeria will be a great nation indeed.
It is always good to be on the right side of the law. Let's not ever forget that. Now, do you remember the lady mechanic in Benin, Sandra Iguabo? That lady who stood up to challenge men to the expertise in the mechanic vocational experience. We have received many inquiries from people across the country concerning whether she is still in the trade or not, and how far others who have swayed into other gender-dominated professions are faring. Ogechukwu Ona concludes this story.
From hair making to nail fixing and other forms of jobs, these people are seen everywhere in the professions previously dominated by a particular gender or termed odd. The story of a middle-aged woman, Sandra Agwebo, aptly comes to mind in this regard.
I've been a mechanic for 33 years. I started from Ikoyi, behind the federal secretariat. When the federal government secretariat, they were still in Lagos. I was working for about 6-7 ministries then.
She made headlines in the 80s as the first female mechanic in Nigeria, standing tall and distinct with pride and fulfillment. From a very humble beginning, this woman of Benin origin in Edo State says she means business, telling the world that with passion and determination, nothing is impossible to achieve.
I had to bring 4 sticks, put them on the ground, get a carton, a thick carton, to shade me away from the sun and the rain, put as a roof. But mind you, I was from Benin City, Edo State. I come from, of course, my father was a big farmer. He was a very rich farmer with 7 wives, 24 children. So he had enough to give everybody. But I never looked back to my father's words to say, okay, my father will be able to provide me with everything.
This success story began in this garage in Lagos in 1995, when she shelved all discouraging comments and remarks to forge ahead with her dream of becoming a mechanic at age 14.
Already we work with public secondary school. Public secondary school, we are in 10 public secondary school in Lagos. That we are going to also do in Benin. We have a garage inside the school where we call Lady Mechanic After School Club. They come and learn after school, learning the basics.
So many years down the line, Sandra has made a name for herself with several local and international awards and recognitions from organizations, governments, and private individuals. This is owing to the fact that with the establishment of the Lady Mechanic Initiative as part of her social corporate responsibility, she says there is no going back in producing competent and qualified auto technicians for higher chance of employability, ultimately liberating, mentoring, and transforming the girl child, especially the indigent ones, ex-commercial sex workers, orphans, and deportees.
The news of it all is about Edo State. That a lot of people say Edo women travel for greener pasture, for prostitution. For one, I don't believe that. With the new government of Edo State, in person of Mr. Godwin Obaseki, he is really on ground to make sure trafficking ends in Edo State.
I want to call on other ladies out there that are doing prostitution. There is no gain in it. Come work with your hand. Guys will respect you.
The story here of the lady mechanic here in Benin City, Edo State, is one that is so inspiring. She's making a mark, not only in Nigeria, but in the world, taking away these girls from the streets, putting them in the right path, and at the same time complementing government's efforts in growing our economy. And on a very light note here, I think I would want to dump broadcasting for this. Becky, what do you think? Do you think I can do that? And what about you?
Okay, we still need you here, okay? Now, some may think it's a cliche, but there is some level of truth in the saying that what a man can do, a woman can do better, or at least to some extent, better. Imagine this scenario. You are a working class man or woman and have to be at work as early as 8, not later than 9 o'clock in the morning. It takes you like 1.5 to 2 hours to get to your place of work. This means that you have to get up very early for this to happen. It also means that you most likely will miss breakfast. Lunch is distorted and dinner may never happen because you got home late, especially if you live in Lagos. The bottom line is your eating habit is totally distorted. So what is the eating habit like of an average working class person? To answer this question, Kehinde Olaleye will use Lagos as a case study.
Lagos residents, particularly the working class, with their busy schedule, have little or no time to cook or even eat breakfast before setting out for the day's activities. Many of them, who live far away from their places of primary assignment, have to leave home sometimes as early as 5 in the morning just to meet up with their resumption time. For this reason, most workers in Lagos have resorted to patronizing roadside buka and restaurants for their feeding. When we spoke with some whom we met at some bukas in the state, they were quick to say that time is of the essence, as they have to find alternatives since their busy schedule would not give them the luxury of time to cook.
You know how Lagos is, how hectic it is, and very difficult to travel from one end to another. As a working class, it's very difficult to meet those 3 needs in a day. So you have to plan and see how you'll be able to overcome such challenges by patronizing this kind of eateries, maybe once or twice a day. I spend a lot. I don't eat at home. I depend solely on this kind of eateries because I don't cook due to the nature of my job.
Don't cook in the morning before I leave because of my work. So it is when I get to work that I eat.
I eat out. Mostly before I leave home in the morning, my wife arranges a cooler that I take to the office. So I do lunch outside. Then when I get home, I take dinner at home.
We also spoke with a restaurant operator who admitted that they get more patronage from working class on working days.
I don't see anything bad about it because you can't expect someone that leaves his house around 5:30 to cook and still get to work early, and you understand. So the best way to do is just find an eatery near to his office or our office and eat. You know, if you don't eat, there's no how you can work.
But can homemade foods be compared to the ones cooked outside our homes?
Eating late is a habit I for sure know will earn you extra body layers and probably feature you prominently on a diet list or gym. In the next segment of Newsline tonight, we will unveil some of the events in our events diary. Please don't go away.